If current market conditions feel confusing to you, you're not alone. Interest rates remain unchanged, politics rattled trader confidence, silver had a historic breakdown, and stocks swung hard with winners and losers on both sides. In recent days, we've had big moves and mixed signals. What should traders be focused on now? Stay tuned to find out. Just a quick little weekly summary. We had the FOMC meeting, Fed kept rates unchanged. You had Kevin Warsh be the next leader of the Fed. Oh, he's here. I guess you could say that rattled markets a little bit, but I don't know if we can blame that, the move in the markets on that. You had craziness in gold and silver, which we'll talk about. Silver saw the largest pullback in history. It was down 31% intraday, and closed at down 25%. I mean, that's just a historic move. Major commodities and currencies have been super volatile, from crude oil having a $5, $6, $7 weekly range. You had natural gas going crazy. You had the dollar at the lowest in 5 or 6 years. The euro was above 120. The gold and silver stuff was nutty too. Bitcoin isn't even on here, but it was a week of outlier moves, I think, in basically everything, with the market violently unchanged.
With the equity market violently unchanged, you look underneath the surface of all these other products.
Yeah, Microsoft down 20%,
No big whoop.
No big whoop. Crazy.
Yep. Crazy indeed.
Just looking at the week ahead, so we have ISM manufacturing PMI today, the jobs report on Friday, and then you have any sort of ongoing news headlines. You have Iran in the picture. You have Warsh and the Fed, and all sorts of stuff. I saw Trump's making a critical metals basket of some sort. The 10, 15, 20 billion. The numbers just all over the place. So all sorts of stuff happening this week, at least on that front too. So you got to keep your head on a swivel. I think that's what we've learned this year, if not the last.
Yep. I don't think. Hold on tight. This isn't over.
Yes. And just to go with the violently unchanged, you can see the S&P 500 basically a zero after the last 2 weeks. Down 4%, up 4%. It doesn't exactly work out to be zero. We're still a little bit lower just because of the numbers. But it just tells you that we've chopped. And you see the chop in the NASDAQ. The Russell has really been the weakest of the group. It was down 2%.
And you pointed that out last week too. When you were talking about the Russell. So you've been mentioning this and seeing it, but yeah, you look at this.
It's nothing. It does.
This is normal action.
This is normal action. This is 1 day action.
It's 1 day action.
It's 1 day action. The VIX at where it is right now at 18 and change. You should be moving 1% a day. That's what the VIX at 18 is, 1%.
That's correct.
Up or down, day to day. And we're moving 0.5% in a week. It's not there.
It's a nothing burger for those who want to have a drink early this morning.
There you go. It's quote unquote not volatile.
Right.
This has not been volatile.
In the YouTube chat room.
Even though it's been volatility underneath the surface.
Yeah. You can't take the numbers just for face value. You actually have to watch what the market has done.
Yeah. Been wild. So in terms of expected move here, the same kind of story here. We have a little bit of a higher VIX into this week. So the expected move is a little bit wider, but again, nothing crazy. It's kind of the same sort of expectations for this week as we've seen the last couple weeks. See, plus or minus 1.6% is our range for the week. The last 2 weeks have been well inside that. So, just more of the same. More of the same.
More of the same. That's really what it looks like. More of the same.
Yes. When we look at the major assets, seen a lot of volatility underneath the surface, or at least starting to percolate.
Look at these numbers.
Everything's up. Volatility is up across the board. Equities have gone pretty much nowhere. The rest of these have had huge moves. I mean, talking about gold, IVR of 89 does not come along very often. Same with silver.
Gold down $30. Just in the last 2 slides, it's moved $30.
Crazy. natural gas, 100% implied volatility. You're seeing Bitcoin volatility increase. Volatility is poking its head up. But it gets smacked down every single time. You got, vol futures below 19 now.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how, volatility being low previous to this last week or so, last 2 weeks or so, how volatility was extremely low. And when volatility is extremely low, you get these bigger moves when volatility is low. Now we have volatility high, and you're getting these bigger moves too as volatility has started to expand and contract intraday. Now that's representing the market. Here you have other things than just the S&P 500. But volatility is elevated everywhere. So if you've been on the sidelines or you've had less money in the market than you normally would have, now might be the time to look at things, bullish or bearish, where you might want to look at things to kind of ramp up your positions, not necessarily the size of your positions.
Yeah.
Next one, please.
Some of the biggest movers, I think the memory stocks are probably the top story of the week in the equity world. SanDisk up 22%. It was up $120 or so after earnings. It sold off to basically unchanged by the end of the day. Again, these moves are...
It's up 14 or $15 this morning. And you are right. I mean, you just mentioning...
It was almost 700 at one point. It got to like 675.
High.
It got to 675 and then closed at 576. And we're up, $10 or $12 right now.
And it went down to 530. I mean, it had a $140 move top to bottom intraday. I mean,
STX the same story. I mean, that stock was at going from 350 to 450 and then back to 400.
Yep.
So you talk about huge moves underneath the surface here. On the downside, you had like a lot of the healthcare names, UNH, Humana. You had like Carvana had a short report that came out, and that stock was down significantly. It bounced the next day. Palantir has been really weak. Microsoft isn't even on this list. It had a huge move. So there's been some big moves in both directions throughout the last couple of weeks. And it's netted out to basically nothing. But they're huge single name moves. The single name volatility has been, the realized volatility is felt off the charts.
Yep.
Getting into the big story, or the bigger story, I guess the memory stocks were a big story, but silver closed down 25% with its largest intraday pullback at 31%. The only comparable events were the Hunt brothers back in the 1980s with a 30% price pullback.
But that was market manipulation.
Yeah, that was different.
I mean, and it was a different level of leverage being used. I mean, I think it was 10 times the leverage that's being used today.
Yeah,
back
even
then,
with
two people
futures
controlling it. Yes. I mean, it's a completely different animal. The move is whatever it is. Like that, that's what you. Who cares about the why? Like I always say that, an option price is $10. Who cares how they got there? It's basically pick them. What do you want to do? Buy it or sell it? What strategy do you want to use? What strategy do you want to use here? It's always the same. Like, what strategy do you want to use to benefit from your assumption?
Totally. But it's, that chart is just,
it's the largest. It took out a month of biblical proportions to the upside.
It's still high.
The downside,
silver, when you look at it a year back, it's still a double, if not more.
Yeah, if not more.
Yeah.
And again, going to the macro view, I don't know what's changed in 48 hours, and that's why I find that macro view a little bit hard to base my opinion on, as opposed to what the market's doing itself.
The next slide here, the gold and silver ratio, it was getting close to its long-term lows. I know I've been talking about my peeps, Malachi, and some others that have been sending me the emails. 40 is the 100-year average. When you look at, the more recent...
pretty close at 45.
Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah.
The recent average, this has certainly... It's been a swift move to the lower end of the range. I mean, we're talking like 2 weeks, and it's back, and it's there.
Yes.
At the lows here. So this is just an unbelievable chart. When you're thinking about this from a percentage move, it's $5,000 per percent if you're doing the long... The big boy futures of 2GC to one SI. If you do the micros, it's $1,000 per point. So these are astronomical moves.
And it took a month to go from around, it's trading around 58 right now. So I'll use 58 because when I got in trouble, I bought it at 56. That was the first time I got in trouble. Watched it go down to 45. So it's gone from 58 where it is right now, last month, the beginning of the month, to the end of the month where it was around 46, got as low as 45 and change, but let's just call it 46. We'll throw out the lows. And it's back to 58 in 2 days.
Wow, the low of the session, 1885.
Wow, the low of the session, 1885, down 25 cents.
I think I'm going to buy one more. Micros. I'm just going to let that.
Put it on the bid, you'll get hit. Next question, please.
So just looking again at the earnings, these are some of the biggest movers to the upside, the downside. Again, the memory stocks have been, kind of the biggest movers recently. You have UNH in there, Meta as well, which had earnings. It had a big move to the upside. Kind of, it felt like it kind of saved the market that day with Microsoft down, a comparable amount to what Meta was up. So just some big moves across the board here. On the next slide here, the earnings. Again, my favorite slide to look at because it's just the same every single time. It's basically 50-50 in either direction. The average return of 0%. It's unbelievable how this works out. It works out like this every single time, despite your own thinking of what earnings have been, because that's influenced by the ones that you actually trade. Because sometimes if you trade them and you have, you trade 3 of them and they're all big moves, against you, you think earnings have been crazy this year. When you take the whole basket, it's been nothing, which is, it looks like that every single time.
Yeah, it's been a big nothing burger, but it really has been big trade.
Next slide here, just to finish off, got a bunch of earnings coming up this week. You got Palantir after the close today. You got, AMD in there, PayPal, Uber, Lilly, Alphabet. You got Amazon at the end of the week too, Reddit in there too. So definitely still in the earnings season.
And which you would think volatility would stay bid just on these facts, right?
You would think so, but I don't know. There's no volatility cannot. It gets the speed at which it is smashed down is pretty unbelievable.
If you want to keep learning, check the links in the description below. At tastylive.com, you'll find our learning hub, which provides trader courses, strategy walkthroughs, research tools, backtesting, and trading concepts you can work with. Check out our free newsletters to help you stay connected to the ideas and research provided only at Tasty Live.